Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us this morning for the Learning Buzz. If you take a look in the chat area, you should see there's a little poll that we're running right now. And so while you're waiting for us to get started, if you can go ahead and jump in and answer that poll, we'd appreciate it. If you don't see the poll, put us something in the chat and let us know so that way we can repost it for you.
Hey everybody, really excited to be here. Give it a couple of minutes and we're going to kickstart this. And as Cassie mentioned,
we see the little responses going on there, and it looks like we're pretty even here, but we'll get started in a couple minutes. I'm Cassie, one of your co-hosts, along with Vishark, and so stay tuned. We'll get ready shortly. Ashley doesn't see anything. Is it possible that we can repost the poll? Ashley, you might have to scroll up in your chat. It could be there in the history. If it's not there, we'll get it reposted for you.
how's it looking, Cassie?
Looking good. Are you ready to get started, Vishark? I'm excited for today. How about you?
I'm like super excited. This is like the pilot episode and I'm like really all kicked up. Get started.
All right. Well, why don't we do that? Good morning, everyone. I'm Cassie Nee, one of the co-hosts for the Learning Buzz. We want to welcome you, and I will turn it over to Vishark and let him introduce himself.
Hey, hi everybody. This is Vishak here from Apposite, and we are looking forward to putting on a great webinar series for you called the Learning Buzz. And it's all thing learning and all things, new trends, new stuff that's happening on a day-to-day basis. And yes, of course, AI. How can we ever forget that? So, yes, looking forward to this full session. We're going to have about 60 minutes, right, Cassie? That's
Yes, we are. And this pilot that we have is what the theme is, the one where no one was ready, and we're very lucky to have two special guests with us today. And I'll let Vishart go ahead and introduce them.
Yes. So with us, I have Prashanti, who's joining us all the way from Sydney. Thank you, Prashanti, over here. And I also have Prabhat over here. Prabhat is joining us from Detroit. And yes, I'm going to hand it over to you, Prashanti. I mean, if you can give us a few minutes and let us know how, who, where, and, a little bit into yourself.
Just an intro. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having us on this podcast. It's exciting. It's my first podcast ever, so you are giving me a nice, beautiful memory to add to my memory lane. I'm Prashanti Madula, as just been introduced. I moved to Sydney with my two little girls 30 years ago, called Sydney home. I've been working for American Express ever since, actually, 29 years with American Express. Recently moved into a senior manager role into operational risk management, where I have my first work encounter of AI, which we can talk later. Yeah, that's a little bit of intro about myself. We can talk about AI a bit later, I guess.
Quick question for you, Prashanti. Any favorite AI tool, anything that you're currently using in kind of working in your personal or professional life?
Yeah, absolutely. So at work, Copilot, I was one of the early employees that American Express has given Copilot to. So I was just super excited. I remember the day we were at work. I've been told my boss, hey, you can start using Copilot. I'm like, this is not a tech person that's jumping up and down excited. And I'm at work, it's quite busy. I wanted to spend some time and learn about Copilot so I can start using it. I'm being pulled in many directions. And there was someone who came to me and asked for a document. And I was like, okay, where do I find this document? I was searching through different systems. I was going through it. I couldn't recollect. All I remembered was the person who sent me that few years ago, the document few years ago. And just penny just dropped for me. Oh, I've got Copilot now. Let me just ask what it can do for me. And then literally, believe me, I just typed up saying, Anfam, who reports into me, has sent me a document. Can't remember it's through Slack channel or email or what mode it has sent me. Sorry, she has sent me the document. But here is potentially the name of the document. Can you please find me? Within 60 seconds, Copilot has presented me the document. Few options, few documents. Everything that Anne has sent me in the years, it just presented to me, and I found the document I wanted, and I was super excited, like a little kid. That was my first work experience of AI, and it was beautiful.
I think
It
a
saved me
millions over there who has that same experience that you're saying right now. A millions.
Prashanti, isn't that
yeah.
like, don't you wish you had AI when you're leaving the house and you're like, oh my gosh, where's my keys? And then you could be like, AI, where's my keys? Show it to me.
Show it to me 100%, Cassie. I agree. The things that we forget. iPod, iPod. Where did I place my iPod or keys or things like that? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Great.
that's my
Great.
little experience of
Nice.
work
Thank you. Thank
AI.
you so much for that, Prashanti. And we also have Prabhat with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Prabhat. A little bit into yourself, if you could please.
Thanks for the quick intro, Vishak. Again, I've 23 years of experience in IT. Basically, started from development and slowly grew into a solutions architect, and now my role as an enterprise architect. Right now, I'm working with Blue Cross Blue Shield as an enterprise architect. The main point of the role would be exposing them to AI and deploying AI solutions for them. And into the past 3 years, we did a lot of deployment, a lot of learning, and there's a lot to discuss. I know we don't want to bring that out in intro, but there's a lot of AI going on, and we are excited to talk about it.
Awesome.
Prabhat,
Awesome.
it's a lot of I think in your world of the work that you're doing, HIPAA tends to be the word that comes up in your conversation constantly, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. Security is a major concern. We deal with PHI and PII, right? And data going out of the firewall is a big no-no. So we've dealt with it. We have to introduce local AI and how we built it, how we solutionize. Is a big story. Uh, we can talk about it.
Awesome. I think we have a lot that we are going to cover up, Cassie. So it's
Yeah,
good.
we
It's
have a
good.
lot we're going to unpack today, Vishark. It's super exciting. And we have amazing guests with us with tons of years of experience. So, like, I think our audience is going to be excited to hear what we have to uncover, unbox, and talk about.
Yeah. I mean, Prabhat, asking you the same question that I asked Prashanti, like, what's that one tool that you started out with, or that kind of caught your attention, made your life easier?
It
Yeah.
it
Other than
obviously
your son's, other
started
than
with
your son's computer.
yeah, I'm gonna tell that story, right? I mean, so it started with ChatGPT, right? But prior to that, I have experience using ML in
Okay.
enterprise machine learning. Though it is considered AI, it's not as intuitive or it's not used for inferencing, right? But I had exposure to AI. I'm like looking for ChatGPT. ChatGPT came out, and it was mind blowing, right? And what it could do. And later on, many other chats came out. But I don't have any favorites as such. I mean, the best practice I do is I use all of them and pick the
Mm,
right answer, which I
it's
feel
part of
from
your
all of
work
them. Right?
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
If you
sounds like
really ask me, push
ChatGPT
me
was your
hard.
first one, right? For
Yes.
Prabhat?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But if you push me hard and say, oh no, you got to pick one favorite, I'll pick Grok.
Oh,
Oh, me
nice.
too. Me too.
I've
You
been
know,
slowly getting. Yeah, sorry,
you're
Gabby.
getting into it now, Vishark.
Yeah, I mean, I've in the last 1 month, I think I've been noticing Grok quality of responses are pretty nice. But I'm a die-hard Claude fan, so I mean, it's my go-to tool.
You know, there was a post that somebody had shared about what AI tool to use when, because they're coming up fast and furious, right? And users are like, which one do I use? When do I use it? Blah blah blah. So it's exciting to see the evolution of how AI is really coming along. So I hope that thank you everyone for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and jump into some of our questions here for our guest. So the first question we want to throw out is, Vishark, you want me to go ahead and start off?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Gabby.
Cool. So in January 2025 was ChatGPT, and you know, think about your world that you worked in. I think AI is like the new email. Remember back in the day when we had to send messages and you had to inter office something and it would, oh yeah, you'll get it in like 3 to 5 days, or you'll get it like in a few days. And then email came along, you're like, whoa, I can send you a message and you got it? What's your email? And you start to send messages and it gets really instant. And I think that's what AI is doing for our world right now. And people are like, oh, at first people were like, whoa, email's going to take over. It's kind of like AI. So thinking about your phone, your personal devices, what type of applications of AI do you have installed? How do you use it? How has it changed your personal life? Who
I'm
wants to go
happy to go.
first?
I'm happy to go first because I think Prabhat's response, my response after Prabhat's response probably won't sound that great. So I'll go first. So unlike Prabhat, who's like heavy tech guru, I'm not a tech guru. All of my responses and experiences would be from a user perspective, a common man. Hopefully that gives your audience a good balance. So I just want to share a little story about how my ChatGPT journey started. Next door neighbors had a huge party and we were not invited. I was not invited to that party. Feeling a bit lonely, I took a cup of coffee and then tea and then sat in the backyard. I was eavesdropping, listening to their conversation. And there was a gentleman in that group. He was talking about ChatGPT. This was long, long time ago, before common people had the app to download. And he was suggesting everyone, oh, you should invest in this stock. It's going to go crazy. This is what the chat GPT is. I'm like, oh, that's coming. Enjoyed that conversation. Few years later, um, I do have a side hustle. I have a clothing brand. I'm a sari crazy person. I do have a
I was
collection
gonna
of
ask you about it.
450 saris. That's a little unnecessary side information for your audience. But I launched my brand and I was struggling. I was busy at work. I'm managing everything single handedly on the Instagram. And I was typing up Instagram posts myself, right? English is our second language. It has certain limitations, and you want to know, you know what you want. You give it the basics, but you kind of need someone to fill the gap. Then just ChatGPT, someone mentioned, I downloaded it and I started using it, and it was amazing. It saved me so much time. I just tell, okay, this is the tone I want. This is how I want you to write these many sentences, these many lines about this product, about this sari, and it would just write. And my life about posting Instagram ads or Instagram posts, the write-ups, it just became so simple. It just became so simple. It kind of evolved from there, my usage of ChatGPT, but I
When
would
was
say
this,
my,
Prashant? When was this? When was this experience?
do you know what? I actually kind of suspected you would ask me this. And I was thinking, like, when did I start using it? I actually asked ChatGPT, hey, when did my relationship with you start? It actually said 2023, mid 2023,
Wow.
172 weeks ago or something. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize myself that my relationship with ChatGPT started that long ago. I was like, wow, yeah, that's when that started.
I don't
But I
think
can,
any of us realize it. Yeah. That we
yeah,
really
Wow.
should.
time.
5 years in a relationship and it's been very beneficial. One of the better relationships, huh?
Yes, yes. Still going. Still going.
and still going. That's amazing. It's funny when you said how Instagram, you would write your own post and then you went to ChatGPT and you started to ask for help. I think that took a lot of the extra brain cells that you're racking to just like put out something there. And ChatGPT is kind of like our thought partner, right? It's like, oh, hey, buddy, can you help me? Like if you were sitting with a friend and having that conversation. So that was really interesting.
It's actually better than a buddy, right? Because your buddies, your partners, your siblings, they get tired. Your executive assistants get tired. ChatGPT doesn't get tired. There's no emotion to it. You don't have to say please. You just have to ask. I still say please sometimes, and just keeps giving you what you want, keeps editing what you want. As I said, I'm not a techie person, but I'm a curious learner. And I'm very fascinated about what AI is going to do or transform our personal lives, our work lives. There is a fear element. We'll get there probably later. And more, maybe Prabhat can answer a lot of our questions with related to fear, but let's stay in the excitement zone at the moment. It's very fascinating, particularly for me with my sari designing. You kind of feel like it bridges the efficiencies with the creativity, right? Creativity takes time. But if you know what you want, visually, ChatGPT can create the digital file for you. And I
So
experimented
true.
that. It
Yeah.
was really good. It was really good. It
It
is.
really
Nice.
cuts down on the time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Prashanti. How about you, Prabhat? I'm sure you're deep in there. You probably had a relationship with it prior, like for more than 5 years.
Long ago. I mean, I've been dealing with ML models, I mean, almost 7 to 8 years now, right? I mean, the ML models are nothing but the kid version of the chat GPTs, right? So we know the benefits of AI, right? But once a chat GPT came, it basically democratized AI, open for everybody, right? Uh, and now I see it's going to be the new norm, right? It's going to be in everybody's life. It's going to be incorporated into the operating systems. It's going to be everywhere, right? But how I fell in love with it is it helps me every day, right? For example, I compose a lot of emails every day. I don't have to write super hi-fi email, right? I just dodge down few
Get the
lines of
message.
content, and I just fine tune this email, right? It puts it all, hi-fi terms in it, and there you go. It made my day already, right? So it started from there. That would be the personal side of it, but from the work side, the benefits it's giving to an organization is immense. For example, I'll take one example of a healthcare industry, right? In healthcare industry, there are grievances, appeals. There are a lot of medical records which the company gets,
Yeah.
and currently people go through their resources were sitting, going through these hundreds of pages of claims or medical data, and then pick few data points from there, and then start their process. Right. What AI has done that is basically convert this 30 minutes, 40 minutes work to just 5 minutes. And then you just send this document to AI. It's going to use the natural language processing, and you can just prompt to it, okay, get me who is the provider name, what is the member ID, right? It's helping in many ways, and we are just scratching the surface right now, and the use cases are immense.
Prabhat, let
I,
me ask you a personal question. Do you
Mhm.
notice that it's relieving cognitive load for you?
Uh, to an extent, yes, but I also see that as a teacher, right? It's not that I'm saying, okay, do this and move on, right? Every time
Yeah.
it does something, I'm reviewing it. I mean, when I review it, I'm learning.
Hmm.
So it is not totally taking my cognitive skills out of me, right? It is
Yeah.
helping me learn every day.
Yeah, and that's the point. I think people are thinking like, hey, I don't have to use my brain as much and cognitively it's going to take a load off of me, but you still have to check it. You still have to go through it and you still have to identify the processes of like what's happening. Prashanti, looks like you had a question or you wanted to add a comment as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to just to talk about the cognitive skill, right? I had a thought about something else. I think it'll come back, but just to talk about cognitive skills, and I was saying earlier, I do have certain fear about next generations and how it's going to impact them, and maybe Prabhat can alleviate my fear. One of the concerns I have is the critical thinking, right? All of the data analytics, and a lot of my friends in their firms, even in Australian government agencies, they're using AI models for analytics, and then
Mhm.
aren't we not losing critical thinking because evolution taught us lose it if you don't use it. Over generations, if the critical thinking, creativity, probably yes, it's enhancing. What about the critical thinking, analyzing the data? AI models do analyze a lot in depth than human brain, so it's hard for us not to get addicted to it or use it because there's more value, there's more
Mhm.
efficiency. But in a long term, how does that impact humans, and how are the next generations going to learn and keep the gray matter going?
So I have an interesting take on this. I came across this account a couple of days back where remember there was a time when humanity used to use Roman numerals, right? We used to use Roman numerals and everything was addition, subtraction, and you can imagine how crazy it gets with those V's and X's and ones and L's and C's and all that. So for a long time there wasn't really higher order mathematics. There was just your basic, addition, subtraction, and such. And it was only when we moved to the Indic system, the Arabic numerals, especially with zero coming in, that's when we got into polynomials and, various other higher order mathematics. All your calculus and everything came in from there. So it's like you needed a different tool in order for your mind to work differently. Till that time, with the tools available, we could think so much, we could perform so much. But once we were given a new set of tools, we were able to kind of, I don't know, something opened up inside and we were able to process higher. So I have a feeling, I don't know if this could be true, but maybe this tool, AI, is something like that, which could probably open us to a different sphere of thinking. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You could be
Yeah.
right, Vishak, and I hope you're right. I hope you're right. For the sake of future
So,
generations.
Before
It
we
is.
move on to our next question with our guest, if you are attending and you have a question for our guest, feel free to put it in the chat. Again, this is a welcoming community. We're engaging with you and we want to know what your thoughts are. So feel free to ask. So Vishark, do you want to ask our guest one of our other long, deep, critical thinking
questions.
questions that we have?
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly deep, but I really wanted to kind of understand where you like. I guess Prashanti mentioned it, right? She saw somebody else. I mean, she heard it from someone else, and it kind of, got in. Um, Prabhat, was it like that for you? I know it was part of your job and you wanted to like, you're always involved there. But did you like, see somebody else use a particular or somebody else told you about, ChatGPT or this one and, got into that or did you get it by yourself? How did that?
Uh, no, I mean, for me, I was up. We are looking at market, what's happening in the world, right? And I was already dealing with the AI in terms of ML. So the next advent was the LLMs, right?
Hmm.
And we know ChatGPT was working on it. We know Gemini Google was working on Gemini, but ChatGPT came out first. But we've been using Google's ML models and a few other small ML models from research institutes before, and we know that the advent of AI is right around the corner. So it's not like I came to know from somebody. It was evident because of my work that I have to keep up to speed with what's coming. And it's not only this, what's future. I mean, next would be quantum computing, right? It's my profile that I need to be up to speed with what's coming in the next few years.
What about your family? I mean, I know that you are directly in the line of business, with ML and AI and such. What about your family or others, who
Yes,
are
that's where my pain starts, right? My kids are already using AI, right? So how are they using? Are they using to do their homework, reading through the explanation? Are they just asking AI the answers and just writing down the answers? See, that is where the issue starts with AI, right? Are we using it the right way? Right, we have a knife in our hand, right? We can cut vegetables, or we can use it for other purpose. So again, it's all how we train them. I've been telling them that, okay, you're using AI. It's your teacher who is explaining step by step. I've seen how they're using them. It's fantastic. It's explaining line by line. If you ask a math question, it is explaining detailed way in how to get to the solution. But are you learning it is a question, and that will come out as time passes, right? I mean, we
yeah.
can use it for cheating as well. So that's where AI is dangerous. Again, this is one point of it. I mean, if you look at image generation or video generation, you can't figure out if it's a genuine
Or
video or
fake.
is generated by AI. So there are challenges. I'm guessing the uh, the government is looking at it, and the AI companies who are generating these models are somehow try to market, some marker which tells that it's an AI generated image, a watermark which is not visible, right? So I'm for sure they're working on it, but we haven't
So
seen it coming out yet.
with I like the way, I mean, though you phrased it as, the dangers of AI, or, could be dangerous. I see it more like this is exactly why we need education in this space, because as you rightly mentioned, it's from case to case, from person to person. And so there would be a lot of people over there who would probably not really know that has to be used in this way, right? So then in that case, somebody like probably yourself, or somebody who would need to tell them that, okay, this is the way, this is the ethics, or this is the way in which you need to take it. So that's education right there. I think that's a huge field when we are going forward. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
If I may add a couple of things there, and an example, I think that came to my mind. I think it's worth sharing. 3 months ago or something, we had a work conference, and there were a couple of university lecturers that came and they spoke about AI, and they shared an example. I think it was Spirit of Halloween or myspiritofhalloween.com. It's in Europe. And they created some marketing visuals, like Prabhat was saying, AI generated visuals to generate some search engine optimization money, income.
Mhm.
And somehow it went rogue exactly. I can't remember how it went crazy. That ad on the Instagram page, and people thought there was actually a parade, a Halloween parade, or in Europe, in Dublin. This was October 2024, I think. And then people landed there. People went, and some apparently even bought the fake tickets. I don't have the details how it happened, but the visual was so believable that people believed it from all over
Mhm.
Europe, and they bought the tickets and they landed there, and there was nothing. And there were pictures shared of people standing there. So it's so hard, right? It erodes
Mhm.
the confidence of common person from the media. Like even when I'm watching news or I'm watching anything now on the social media, I take it with a grain of salt. Is this real? Is this really Prabhat talking, or is this Prabhat, fake video talking? They
AI.
pretend
Yeah.
the voice, just one or two pictures of you, and they can create the whole video.
True.
30 seconds of your voice they can create. So there
Yeah.
are dangers to it, but I guess regulatory bodies, government, all these tech giants, they all have to come together and just create some governance frameworks, guidance, provide guidance, and there should be oversight. of what's happening to control this. We're not there yet, I feel. We have a long journey to make, but something that should be heavily focused.
Prashanti, thanks for that segue. And for our audience out there, if you have noticed, there's a poll that was launched in our chat asking you, does your organization have an AI policy or guidelines in place? And so if you have the time, go ahead and select your responses there. While we're waiting for those to pop up, I'll just add Prabhat. I will say that I was a teacher in K-12 education in the early 2000s, and the first tool that I would turn my students on was Wolfram, or is it called Wolfram Alpha? And I would say like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Look, but don't cheat now. Okay. It's just showing you the steps. So there's still things that you have to learn. And I thought the kids, once you put those guidelines for them and say, you can use it, but I can tell if you did it yourself versus if Wolfram did it. And they'll be like, how do you know that? I'm like, hello, I'm the teacher, And I think students would be like, oh my gosh. But I thought it was a great tool because for those students who struggled in math, they didn't understand all the steps, and Wolfram would help be their tutor for that. So I thought that was a great tool at that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there are tools which are designed to figure if something is coming out of AI or not. Um, I also see kids in Instagram finding a ways to, come over that as well. But again, it's all in how we teach our kids to learn, right? I mean, there's a tool for you, use it wisely.
Yep. Oh, you can go on TikTok and learn about a whole bunch of tools that will help you work around some of those things. So,
That's right.
yeah, I mean, I hate to
Every
say it. I'm one of those that I digest the content. I'm like, oh, wow, did you know you could do that? That's so cool. But again, like back to what Prashanti said, there's a lot of things that are out there in this world, in the environment that we live in, where there's tons of people who are not nice and they're using it for devious purposes or not good purposes and trying to scam people or trying to convey people. I think there was that movie that came out. It was a made up movie, but they showed how the daughter's voice and picture were used to scam the parents, and the parents freaked out, and the daughter was kidnapped, and they didn't know what happened. And it was just, that's the world we live in. And, AI has its positive uses, but it also, in the wrong hands, to Prashanti's point, it can be used for the wrong things. So it looks like we have our responses in here from our audience. It looks like 50% of them, yes, they have it. They understand their policies in their organization. Uh, 25% of them say that yes, we have it, but I don't know what it says. And 25, the other 25% says no, we don't have one. And that's pretty common in organizations where, sorry, Prabhat, I'm not gonna knock on the IT guys, but they'll write a policy and it's in all this technical jargon, and then the person gets it, goes, "What can I do? I don't understand this. What does this mean?" And so, learning people like us, like Vishark and I, come along. We're like, "Hey, let's digest this into terms and learning that people can use, so that way it makes more sense to them." There are some things popping up in our comments about, I think Kavita put in, so true. We're seeing so much of the changes in the work we do. Sanjana, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, had a question about what is your take on the AI bubble that researchers are talking about? 95% of the AI use cases haven't returned to tangible profit, like source MIT, given there are massive investments in AI infrastructure and no clear path to profitability. Do you think the bubble might burst soon?
Let me take a dig at it. I don't see AI as a bubble. And again, it is still in the infant state, right? I mean, many organizations have put together solutions which just went live probably a couple of months ago or a year ago. So getting ROI within this time period is not the right way to put it. I mean, you need to give ample time for it to really reap the benefits of having AI. But to a broader audience, is AI a bubble? No. Every organization, every solution we put in, the first thing we do is where can we introduce AI in this whole process? So AI is not a bubble, because if we are using AI, that means there is compute being used. That means there are GPUs being bought. That means there are more data centers being built. That means there's more power usage, and et cetera, et cetera. So AI is not a bubble.
But
It is
Vishak,
the
that's a
Prabhat,
next
great. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Prabhat.
it's not a dot com, right?
Mm.
It's the next advent of technology.
but Prabhat, there are some comments going around saying that, and we don't know. I mean, nothing is conclusive, or we can't really state anything for a fact. But you've noticed how, right, like NVIDIA sells their GPUs to OpenAI. OpenAI then sells it, services to Microsoft. Microsoft then goes back and, or the other companies would go back and, sell it off to this one. It's a cycle. And I guess recently, yesterday or day before, I don't know his name. Michael Burry, so the person who predicted the big short some years back, that housing whole thing. So he just made a whole thing about betting all his stocks or everything against Nvidia and
Against
Palantir and a couple of companies. So that's like thrown the whole financial market out of whack, saying, okay, if this guy is gonna do it, then what's gonna happen? So we are hearing multiple things over here, with
So
respect to
here's my 2 cents, right? I mean, I'm not that big to understand the economics, or the understand the whole market, but what is happening in the enterprise world? I mean, at least the company I'm in, or the connections I have across the different enterprises, AI is being introduced. There are two factors which you need to see. One is the enterprise AI. The second one is AI for general public, right?
person.
There are companies who are building solutions, tools to design videos, generate images, regular chat interfaces like ChatGPT. So they are bringing out solutions, right, that need compute power. If you look at the enterprise world, we are also bringing out solutions for every solution. We are looking at where AI need to be introduced. Can it be an agentic AI? Can it be a regular AI? And when we are introducing AI into a solution, that means we are also buying compute, right? And we probably may not have our own data center. That means we are going cloud. We're going to go to AWS, and say, okay, I need this much compute in your cloud. Can you get it? So AWS is going to go to NVIDIA and say, okay, I want 10,000 GPUs, right? And they're going to put that in the data center. So it is evident that in the last 2 years, we already introduced 4 to 5 solutions which involve AI, and
Okay.
I would point it might be somewhere between 6 to 7 million worth of AI, usage, or cost we spend. I mean, or the amount we spend on AI, right? That is just in the last 1 to 2 years, right? That's just one organization. You can extrapolate it for the
Yeah.
entire world.
Yeah. In
Oh,
fact,
and
yeah. Sorry, guys.
no, I mean that's really interesting, and I think we're going to get to a question about ethics and environmental on AI. But before we do that, we have so many countries who are tuning in here, and Prashanti, because you're from Australia, how is Australia embracing AI? What is that view? What does it look like? How is government getting involved? Like in February, the UK got involved and required that if you're using AI, you have to provide some kind of training for your employees if they're in the UK. What is Australia doing?
We definitely, well, as far as my knowledge goes, we don't think we are as advanced as Europe. We're definitely behind, but a couple of things that are currently happening. Australia definitely is embracing AI. So, Australian Bureau of Statistics have published recently saying this AI adoption from 2021 to 2025 has risen by 142%. National AI Center also monitors SME AI adoption. So that's also on the rise. So that's good to know that it's not that big giants, but it's also small and lower end of the organizations or enterprises. They're also adopting and benefiting from it. Banks, telecommunications, particularly healthcare industry. I was reading like a month ago, I think, in Australia, the breast cancer center and the affiliated universities, they're using AI for analytics of the mammograms. And apparently, the models are catching certain aspects of the mammograms that human eye or the doctors cannot. And it is predicting risk prediction, early detection, saving lives, and they were celebrating in a big time. So there is a lot of adoption in health industry or banking and financial industries, where government is probably what government's doing is this year they have refreshed their AI strategy. They've released some guidelines for various industries, which is great. They're also working locally with some tech giants to come up with their conduct, AI rollout conduct or rules. They're working with them, but they're heavily investing in healthcare, cancer research industry as well in millions of dollars. So government is very supportive. The general Australian public, unlike many countries, they're very conservative, risk averse people. So the surveys and the polls are revealing they're supportive of the progress. They want the progress, they're embracing the change, but they're really screaming out loud saying we need more governance, we need more data protection. So that's something Australians are definitely feeling. But in the social environment, it's omnipresent. You go to lunch, you go to dinner, doesn't matter which age group, what's happening, that topic comes up. Topic comes up, and they talk about what's happening in their work environment. I was having a dinner with the next door neighbors who didn't invite me for the party, the other party, but we were having a dinner, and now they're lovely people. We were having a dinner, and then Gauri works for Department of Education. They analyze a lot of data, and an interesting study that they were trying to do was women in real estate. Why aren't women? Because the Department of Education, they have certain courses that they launched, and women are dropping off. They're not being successful. And they were doing some analysis, but because of AI, she was briefly telling me they're now analyzing the women who have been successful in real estate, what schools they went to, where did they study, which towns they come from, what subjects they picked up, what are the qualities that they have that they can potentially leverage and use to help other women to get into that industry. And she was explicitly saying they are saving huge amount of time driving efficiencies because her team produces analytics, and humanly they probably could do like at the top of 20%, 30%, but
Yeah.
AI is enabling them to go into different levels, different depths. I thought that was pretty fascinating, the level, and to Prabhat's point earlier, and the thought that I said, I lost my thought, is how much a common person is empowered with this AI, right? Anyone says anything, you're like, oh, I know, I don't know, oh, I can check. There is someone who can help me. There's someone who can teach me. I'm feeling all of a sudden, a common person all of a sudden is feeling so empowered, so confident that they can learn about anything. They can research about anything. And they don't need to learn coding, unlike Prabhat, who's learned all the way from engineering college. Now it's a common language, and we can do to an extent, right? If you're a visionary or if you're a creative person, you know what you want, and if you can articulate that, you can take AI's help to do it. I think that's quite empowering.
I
Yeah.
think Prashanti has hit on something very, very important over here. Communication design. It's like now these tools, AI tools, we don't need to, like you mentioned, coding is something that, yes, Prabhat, I mean, we would definitely need senior coders and ones to kind of do that gatekeeping. But at the end of the day, they're saving so much of time for us, right? These tools. So it's mind blowing the way we like these tools are coming out there, and we don't need to. We can just talk to them. That's the interface. The conversation is going to be the interface with these tools. So communication design, where how specific, how accurate we are in making sure we are conveying what we need to this tool. That's also going to help us in our personal life and various other places. I think communication design is going to be a huge thing going forward. Like how we.
This topic is directly leading to a second question, that is AI displacing people, right? Because if everybody can do everything, why do we need a certain developers or
Sensitive.
data
Yeah.
analysts, right?
Yeah.
So my take is, to an extent, it's the analogy, right? How do you see a water in the glass? Is it half full or is it a half empty, right? I would take the half full analogy, because it is creating more jobs. We need prompt engineers. We need architects who can design solutions around AI. We need network engineers. We need there will be so many data centers. We need infrastructure engineers, right? So there are jobs being created because of AI. At the same time, we don't need so many developers. An organization can have 20 developers. We don't need them. We need like 5 developers who can connect the dots. uh, so yes, it's half full, half empty, right? It is displacing jobs at one place, but more new jobs are getting created at a different area. So it's all coming to, how do we upskill ourselves, right? Whoever upskills
Yeah.
themselves, start using
Yep.
AI or adapt to the change, will sustain the others. It's a tough ask. They have to find their way.
Yeah,
I
Prabhat, there was oh, sorry, Prashanti, go
sorry.
ahead.
I just wanted to say adoption is, I think, is going to be the key. Environment is going to so constantly change. You just have to unlearn, relearn, unlearn, relearn. If someone can have developed that skill, I think you will survive in the constant changing environment. But that would pose some challenges to certain people. But yeah, that's going to be the key to survive in the coming environment or
Adoption.
in this, yeah, adoption.
Yeah, Prabhat, to your point, and with Vishark and I in the learning spaces, it's not so much that AI will take your job. It's the upskilling part is, how are we preparing you to actually learn how to program, or, encourage or do whatever you need to do with the AI. So it's not so much like, okay, you're not going to have a job, but somebody's going to replace you who has the AI skills to do your job. And that's what we have to be aware of right now. And I think that's the turning point of where we're talking about in our workforce. As you said, they're getting rid of jobs, but those people are having opportunities for new roles because now
Mm.
they're having the AI skills and being able to use that in their new role.
Yeah.
So we're gonna segue real quick and do like a 5 second shoot off, what we're gonna call it. I'm gonna ask you a question, and we'll start with Prashanti, and you're gonna say which one you use, Google or AI first.
AI. AI
Prabhat,
as Google.
when you need to know something, Google or AI first.
Me, I would choose AI.
And Bashar, Google or AI.
AI. I don't know when was the last time I used Google search.
I have we'll dive into this. We have about 10 minutes left. I'll tell a short story, and then we're going to segue over to talking about the ethics and the environment. There's this woman who I used to work with. She was the librarian, and she said, AI is just another thing. I'm ready to learn it. I'm ready to embrace it. I was like, wow, a surprise. Because 3 months before that, she was saying, nope, I'm not into AI. I'm not doing this. It's going to take my job, blah, blah, blah. And as we went through some sessions with her, she told me the story that when she was a librarian back in the 90s, and when the internet came around, they said, hey, it's going to take over your job. You're not going to be a librarian anymore. And she's like, what happened was the librarian was still there because we have to teach people how to use the computer. And then, here comes AI, and they're saying, like, yeah, AI is going to take your job. But really, AI is actually a tool for me to use and leverage so that way I can get more people excited about the resources we have as a librarian. So I thought that was really exciting, and it's the pivot turn of the realization that AI is not here to take over every part of your life, but it can enhance and provide resources and use as a tool.
Yeah.
Totally
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah. So let's segue into the question, dun dun dun, in our last 9 minutes, because this is the question that nobody likes to talk about, and it kind of gets boring when we talk about the ethics and environmental impacts of AI. And Prabhat, you started to head down that road about how much energy it takes, and it's really not the energy so much of like you prompting, but it's the open AIs, it's the Anthropics, it's all the big companies who are building these big, data system machines to like ingest everything and compute it. Are there any ethical and environmental considerations that you think about as you're in your world working?
To be frank, see, every change in a society would bring up this topic, right? Uh, yes, as of now, the power we are on a whole generating is less than what we are consuming, right? So, and majority of the power is coming from non-ethical sources. So yes, the debate can happen. It might be non-ethical to, use that power to, power AI, but there are advancements happening. It's just in the infant stages, right?
Yeah.
We know that the small fusion reactors are coming, which are safer, uh, which can power AI. We know there's more solar power plants being put in different places of the world.
In
So
space. I
to,
think
to
Google is putting up a data center in space. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
place.
So that question is a temporary question. Yes, it might be unethical right now, but that's the future. I mean, we need to figure a way to make that power ethical, right? But not saying because of AI you're using more energy. I mean, I think that statement is wrong. We need to embrace AI, but put our thoughts in how can we make the power ethically.
Yeah,
Yeah, more.
Prashanti, you had talked about the ethical areas, right? And so how do you view that?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Prabhat is saying. Environmental issues, I think we are embracing into that space. We are trying to find solution. And Visak said, yeah, we're putting data centers in space. I think that world will evolve and that would solve that problem. For me, what's more important is organizations, governments, regulatory bodies building frameworks, and there should be oversight. There should be constant check of what companies are doing, how it's being used, and more importantly, I think, Cassie, is transparency. When you
Mhm.
use an AI model, what is the transparency? Quickly give you a 1 minute example. In Australia, Deloitte has produced a report for Department of Employment or
Oh, it's a
Workplace
very,
Relationships.
yeah.
440,000 was the bill that government commissioned, and that bill, that report had all sorts of references and quotations that are like fake, and government found out about that, and then later Deloitte declared that, okay, we used AI and we didn't tell you that. That transparency is needed. Deloitte should have validated the AI produced content. I think human validation is critical. Transparency is critical. Data
Yes.
protection is critical. Government bodies, governance models have to increase, and that's where everyone should heavily focus on. Then I think we're almost there. I think my concluding sentence is, Cassie, I think you have touched this. AI should really enhance the human enablement, human power, our capability, and it shouldn't hurt us or we shouldn't become slaves to it. Hopefully, that's where we will land we'll know in time, 10 years time. Yeah, but
But it's a good guidepost, yeah, to keep our eyes on. Yeah.
um,
Bashar, why don't we talk about that question we discussed about the fail? We should ask them.
Oh, yes. So I guess, I mean, we are almost there at the end of our, session. That's really good. But I'd like to ask, I think I'll start with Prabhat. Epic fail, epic fails with AI. Can you give us an example of maybe you expected something huge out of it, but what you got was like,
Yes, yes. So we had this family picture taken some in some other outing. The lighting was not good, right? So I asked ChatGPT, can you brighten the image, make it sharper? It basically replaced us. So
Oh my God.
that was an epic failure.
what, what about you, Prashanti?
It's not an epic example, but I can give you an example. So you know how I said I kind of experiment with ChatGPT. I was creating a visual for my sari business. I said, take two models, set them up in a temple environment. I want them to be this tall, this body. I gave them a lot of specifications and the jewelry, everything. It did everything. And then I felt like the model's leg length was a little bit shorter and I wanted to increase. I said, oh, can you please increase the leg length by this much? And then AI added an extra leg. That's what happened. That's my experience. And the model had three legs. I didn't want it three. I just wanted two tall ones. So yeah,
That's so
that's my
funny.
next.
Bishar, do you have epic fails with
Oh
AI?
my God, you should check it out. So my spouse is in the same industry, learning and design. So, and I think she's presenting something to a large group of people and, demoing an AI, this thing, especially with video, I think. So I'm like staring at her from the corner of my eye, her screen, and checking it out. And I think the prompt was something to do with a dinosaur, a T-Rex, I think, which is able to fly, so which has a rocket pack or something. And the result was just horrible. It had like a dinosaur with a propeller on its head and like it's trying to fly. And I'm like, this is nothing like the prompt that you gave. And so I was like laughing at myself. And I've had quite a few like that. It's interesting, but it's getting better. That's the amazing thing. I don't know, you would have seen that video of Will Smith trying to eat noodles and you know what it was like in 2023, and now the videos coming out, it's like you mentioned, you can't even make out the difference. So yeah. Interesting times.
I want to add to it. I mean, see, this is an ideal example, right? So not all LLMs are built on the same data, right? So
Yeah.
my 2 cents is use whatever is available there. I mean,
Yeah,
all the LLMs, pick the right one, right?
yeah.
They are just tools. They're helping you out. Use all of them and make the right
Explore.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
makes
I,
sense, makes
I,
sense.
I was I was just going to say, from a common person's perspective, those failures are a little bit reassuring that AI is not advancing at a pace that everyone's making it sound like. Okay, it's still got
we
room to
got
learn.
we still got some time.
I still got some time.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. We're almost at time. We really appreciate having Prashanti and Prabhat share their thoughts and their experiences and even the funny things that have happened with AI. Vishark, we've had a great time here. How about you?
I'm just gearing up for the next session, Cassie. Can't tell you.
Yeah, and so hey everyone out there, stay tuned for our next episode of the Learning Buzz. We're gonna have some great topics, some great stories, some great audience, and we'll do a small plug. Prashanti, your little side business there. Where can I get myself a nice printed design that you've made?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, I'm
share the
happy to.
link to the Instagram channel.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will do
Most
that.
welcome. Most
Yeah.
welcome. We custom design as well. I custom design as well. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah. So if anybody's interested, look her up on LinkedIn, give her a ping, ask her, where can I get mine? You know, Prabhat's also on LinkedIn. Definitely connect with him. If you got some IT questions, I'm sure he's got some good responses for you, especially with the work that he's doing.
Yeah.
And
Happy to help.
Vishark and I are so thankful that you joined us today for this time. And we wish you all the best wherever you are. Good night, good evening, good morning, and have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
guys.
so much, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks for having us.
everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.